Hello, hello. Is it live? I think it's live. Sorry, I haven't had my hair cut yet, so it looks like I've got wings still. But I'm having it cut next week. How are you doing? Um, Hi everyone. It's Kyuu. It's your turn. Yes. So we're making the next fragrance. The inspiration for it I've written down in the description. If you want to read what the idea was properly, and then on the screen I've got the main kind of notes we're going for. And yeah, and I think this one's going. Did you want it in a clear glass bottle, or was it? I thought it was red at first, and then I think you said clear. So it's either going to be in a red bottle or a clear glass bottle, one or the other. Um, can people hear and see me, just to make sure that you can actually, like, I'm definitely live? Because sometimes I do these and I talk to myself for 20 minutes and they're like, where's Peter? And I realise I've clicked the wrong button. Yeah, I want the clear one. Okay, so you can hear me at least. Okay, cool. Can't stay, but hope everyone has a lovely stream. Great day. Hope you're doing well, Robert. Nice to see you, buddy. You're clear. Yes. Okay, cool. Thank you, Lily. How you doing? Hello, hello. Hi, everyone. Okay, so hear and see you. Cool. Right. So with this one, interesting idea for fragrance. It's kind of Japanese inspired incense kind of fragrance. So it's going to be an incense base accord with some unusual materials. We're using hinoki. I had to buy this in especially because I didn't have any. It's wicked expensive. Hinoki essential oil. That little thing was like £60 almost for 10 ml of hinoki. So it's not cheap, but it smells nice. It's kind of to describe it, I would say it's got slight similarities to pine. But it almost has like a fresh, almost citrus, like lemon quality to it. So like a lemony pine. It's interesting. It's kind of, it's nuanced. There's different kind of vibes to it. I get kind of somewhere between cedar and pine with almost a lemony kind of citrusy thing, maybe even a touch of like geranium kind of vibe. Interesting note. So we're going to be using that, and that's going to be, I guess it's going to mix into the incense kind of accord. And so hinoki is going to be one. We're going to be using oud in this, and we're using proper oud. This is Ensar Oud Santosa. And so you're going to get a 2020 Thai Cambodia from Ensar Oud in this. So we've got Ensar Oud, hinoki, and then we're going to do the, like I say, incense-y accord. That's going to build up the core of the fragrance. And then we're going to kind of nuance it with a little bit of jasmine, spices, coriander, cinnamon. Spikenard is... Do I have... Where's Spikenard? I should have checked this before I did the live stream. Where is it? Oh no. I know I have Spikenard. Oh, it's there. Okay, it's fine. We got it. So Spikenard is really super weird. It's kind of hard to describe. It's got slight vibes of vetiver, but it's kind of herbal, rooty, a little bit odd. It's interesting, but it's quite a complex note. We're going to be using a little bit of that. And so it's got all sorts going on in it. And then in the top, we're going to have citruses of... We've got red mandarin essential oil and yuzu essential oil. And I've also got a yuzu aldehyde, which is quite lovely. So I'll use most yuzu essential oil, but a little bit of the yuzu aldehyde because it's quite nice, and that might stretch the yuzu a little bit because I think the yuzu aldehyde will last probably a little bit longer than the essential oil. You had a haircut yet? No, I have not. Okay. I haven't had a haircut at all. Obviously, you can tell. I mean, it's still massive. I mean, I'm not going to take my hair. I can't not wear a hat because it's... I keep saying untamable, but it's like a lion's mane. I just can't do anything with it. It's just too long. So I just stick a hat on. But I think probably, I don't know, Wednesday, Thursday, I'll be getting my haircut. Did you think about the rhubarb? Yeah, I don't think I'm going to use it, to be honest. I think we're going to leave the rhubarb out. I have it here. If I change my mind, I've only got a little bit of... I've got one by Feminique and one by Givaudan. And the Givaudan one is super bitter, and it's got this very... It's extremely strong, but I'm a little bit... I think I would have to dilute that to use it. The Feminique one is a lot more... well, it's less intense and less like crazy nuclear strong for a start, but it's less bitter and less kind of acidic. So I would probably use the Feminique one, but I think we're going to miss it and just stick with the yuzu and the mandarin. I think that will be better, personally. Where's the beanie? It was cute. It's... I don't know where it is. It's somewhere. I have a few different hats, but this is the one I usually wear. And then Mavis says, the women of this chat all agree you should go bold. Well, thank you, Joe. Okay, so we're gonna start. Let me think. So I need to pull my materials out for the basic kind of incense thing going on, which is gonna be all of these lot. I'm thinking it's probably going to be mostly a natural fragrance. And in the background, hopefully it's not too loud, but we got some Japanese flute music. I YouTubed Japanese music to have in the background of this video, and we got Japanese flute music, which is quite nice. If it's too loud, let me know and I'll turn it down a little bit, but that's in the background. So, I think... Let me think. I shall think. We'll do the resins first for the incense accord, and then I'm gonna go in with the woods. So we're gonna be using the oud oil and the hinoki. But I'm just gonna write down these resins first, and I think we're gonna put in maybe a little bit of ambergris because I kind of use it with everything. Proper white ambergris tincture. I just love the way ambergris smells, and it works with incense accords. It gives it a nice kind of musty. It just makes it cool, basically, and it's a good fixative as well. Joe says he could improve himself by looking more like me. Well, okay, thanks, Joe. Why would you want him to look like you? You're one of a kind. Well, that's certainly one way to put it, Lily. Okay, cool. So, yeah, we're going to start with... I'm going to go with myrrh first. We're going to start with like super basic incense block, myrrh and frankincense to begin with, and then I'm going to build on it. But that's the starting point. And I've just rinsed this beaker out with alcohol, so it's all pucker. Okay. I'm going to start with the myrrh and the frankincense. And I can't get this off. There we go. Beautiful. Okay. I never know how much perfume we're actually going to make when I do these videos. I'm just hoping it's enough. So I've made incense accords probably the longest out of anything. So I have kind of a way of doing it, so I don't really need to, for this little section, like I don't need to smell it every 2 seconds is what I'm saying. I enjoy making incense accords. You can make them as simple or as complex as you like the very, very basic would be just myrrh and frankincense, and it gives you a beautiful incense accord, but you can make it like really complicated. You can put in multiple different resins, multiple different woods, enhance it with spices. You can go to town on an incense accord, so it's always good fun. Okay, so next up we're going to do frankincense, and I do a fairly even mix between the frankincense and myrrh, and I think with this one might even go a little bit heavier on the frankincense, but we'll see what it's like when I put the woods and things in there. This is Somalian frankincense. Okay, so I've got an even amount there of, to start with anyway, of frankincense and myrrh. I'll give that a swill. Always smells beautiful. I love incense accords. I'm going to go with Benzoin next. Okay, let me just read the comments. Where do you get your oils from? They're from different places, buddy. Some I get from Eden Botanicals in America. Some are from like places like some of the synthetics from Perfumer's Apprentice, Perfumer's World, those kind of websites. Pell Wall in the UK for some synthetics. But most of my naturals I get from either Hermitage Oils in Italy or Eden Botanicals in America. Those are the main where I get most of the natural kind of ones. And some of these ones are from Bristol Botanicals in the UK, like the yuzu and the hinoki are from Bristol Botanicals. Okay, so we're going with Benzoin. Benzoin is a lovely kind of syrupy, slightly sweet resin, very smooth. I'm not going to add as much of this. Okay, that's enough. And then we give that a little swirl. You see the benzoin change the colour there from being quite clear to that lovely kind of rich orange colour. So at the moment you're getting the building blocks of that incense accord coming along. I probably could have put the ambergris tincture in first, but I'm going to put it in. I like putting ambergris in my incense accords. Well, in general, I quite like putting ambergris in a lot of my perfume. Like I say, the ambergris tincture is a really beautiful fixative, and it gives this kind of, it's a bit like magic. It kind of makes the perfume a little bit more ethereal. I can't explain it very well, but it gives a kind of an ethereal, musty aura to the fragrance, which is just lovely, and it kind of helps combine other things as well, and just makes everything kind of work together. It's just, I just love ambergris. And this white ambergris that I get from Ireland, has a beautiful kind of sweetness to it as well, natural kind of sweetness. Oof. Okay. Got a wee chunk of ambergris tincture in there now. I think the frankincense is nicely balanced. It's got frankincense gives it more that kind of slightly churchy kind of incense vibe. If you want more kind of Catholic church vibe, you would use more frankincense. In general, that's what kind of gives it that churchy kind of vibe, and I think it's balanced well at the moment. Let me just read comments. Is it worth the cash for a perfumery school? It depends what you want to do with your life. If you want to be a perfumer where you work for an actual brand, like the big perfume houses, then then you need to go to perfumery school. So, but if you just want to be an indie perfumer by yourself and not work for anybody else, then learn at home, I would say. But if you actually want it as a career, where you actually get a position as a perfumer, then yeah, train properly, go to France. How does hinoki smell like? So it's kind of somewhere between pine and cedar with kind of a slightly lemony kind of vibe, slight geranium kind of it's quite complicated, nuanced. It's not as strong as something like Fur Balsam, which is that strong kind of pine smell. It's more subtle in the profile, but it has elements of piney kind of tree kind of smell. But like I say, the one that I have got has got this kind of slightly lemony, almost citrusy like quality to the pine-y kind of smell. Also, do you get your perfumes IFRA certificated? Yeah, you have to by law. All my fragrances have got a safety certificate and comply with the IFRA, and registered on the EU portal and now the UK portal. So yes, I wouldn't be able to legally sell them if I didn't. Okay, so I'm getting distracted by the comments. Okay, cool. Okay, so next I'm gonna go with, that's the basic. I don't want to make let me think. Well, we're gonna go with the hinoki and the oud first, and then I'll see how the whole because I feel like the woods are really gonna mix into the incense vibe, because they're all base materials. So the oud, the hinoki, the incense is all gonna be on top of each other. Basically, it's gonna be its own full accord. So the woods are gonna be part of the incense, is what I'm saying. So we're gonna go with probably the more subtle first, which is the hinoki. I'll balance the hinoki first, and then we'll go in with the ensar oud. So it's Kyuu. If you're still here, how strong do you want the hinoki? Was it the oud that you wanted stronger, or was it the hinoki that you wanted stronger? If you can let me know, that would be ideal time. How hard is it to get an IFRA certificate? Not very hard. Basically, you want to write out your formula in weight percentage. You want your safety data sheets, certificate of analysis paperwork for every single oil that you have in the perfume, where it's come from, the whole batch number thing, good manufacturing practices, send it off to the chemists that work it out. They will go through it material by material. If there's anything that's over the limit, they will tell you, okay, well, you've got too much rose. This particular allergen in the rose needs to be reduced. And then you might have to redo your formula to adjust for that. If you know what you're doing, you should pass it first time. And then once they've gone through every single material, gone through all the paperwork, they issue you a certificate, which you sign, and then you can upload it on the EU database. It's a little complicated, but I mean, if I can do it, then I don't see why anyone else can't do it. I love the hinoki, but I don't care which is stronger. Maybe evenly balanced. Okie dokie, cool. It's T-Dog. How are you doing, T-Dog? Was so peaceful listening to this one until one of my great Pyrenees noticed a major threat in the backyard. Squirrel. That's funny. Okay, so we're going in with the hinoki. And I suppose this is going to be like, I'm calling them base notes, but they're going to be perceivable for the whole fragrance. So they're going to be in the mid, they're going to be in the base. So this is really the core of the fragrance. We're really working in base to mid notes, with the top notes being the, I guess, hints of the spices and the yuzu and the mandarin. But I'm getting distracted. But I'm going in with the hinoki now. And we're going to do like maybe 0.20 grams to start, and I'll just give it a smell. I think we probably need more than that. Okay. I'm going to go in with double what I've just done. It's fairly mild, this essential oil. This is the first time I've used it, but I kind of get a vibe of when I can smell them like that. I know I can relate it in my brain to other materials that I have in terms of how strong it is, if that makes sense. So I can tell that I can be fairly generous with that. But we'll give this a smell now. A little bit worried about burning my nose out when I do this. I'm going to add even more. Okay. I'm going to go a little bit easier now because I was a bit generous there at the beginning, but we'll go a few. I'm going to get it to 0.50 grams. One more drop. Okay, so we're going to have a smell there. We can come back and I can add a little bit more. And I think we're going to probably go with the oud next. Okay, I'm going to put a little test strip in, and I'm just going to see. So at this point, I'm going to write on here up to hinoki. So when I go to smell this strip later, we know that from that point is the incense, the ambergris, and the hinoki together. That smells nice. The hinoki is quite lovely. Very nice. I might use that in a future fragrance one day, but it's wicked expensive. So whatever I use it in, might be a bit pricey in the in the bottle. Because you have to use quite a. With it being quite light, you have to use a generous amount, but because it's so expensive, it's a note that would like boost the cost of your formula quite a bit. But it is lovely. I mean, it smells great. That's smelling good. I'm gonna go with the oud. Let me just write down the weight of the hinoki. Okay, the weight. I got it to 0.50 and it's dropped down to 0.48, but that's fine. Okay, so I'm going to keep that pipette at the side here because we might add more of that. And I'm going to go with the oud next, and we're going to use Ensar oud. The profile of the oud is stronger than the hinoki. Beautiful. This is a Thai Cambodia oud from Ensar, and it's called Santosa. And I've just ordered 50 grams of this, which is coming on Tuesday, I think. Tuesday or Wednesday. Because I'm going to be using it in probably Om. Okay, so I'm going to go in with the oud. But I'm going to be using this Ensar oud in the charity fragrance C3. I'm raising money for Animals Asia, which rescue basically black bears from the bear bile farm in Vietnam, which is just horrific what they do to the bears. And they've got this amazing big sanctuary where they rehabilitate them and give them a nice life, and they're protected. So we're going to be raising money for the bears. That's next month. It'll be on May the 4th next month. The force be with you. That's on purpose. And and we'll be raising money for the bears. Okay, so we're going to add even more oud. Oh, you're a lucky boy. Okay. So yeah, I'm going to be using this oud with honey, and I'm going to make like a Winnie the Pooh fragrance, which I think will be cool. Okay, so, oh, stop. Okay, this is pretty evenly balanced now in terms of weight with the hinoki. So I'm going to stop there for now. And we'll... I don't want to waste the oud. Get back in there. Okay. It's the trouble with the expensive materials. I don't even waste a drop. Okay. Oud. Okay. Let's give this a smell. We can adjust this before we move on to the next stage. Oh boy. Oh, I think you're going to like that. Okay. Okay. I want to get another test strip in. And then we're going to write after oud. And then we know what the difference is between... This is just the way we're up to the hinoki. And then this one will be with the oud as well. And that way we can test the fragrance at different stages of the development as we're making it. Okay, so I'm missing the comments. Are we still on track for... Yes, it will be on May 4th. Okay, let me scroll up. But if you lend him your Buffy the Vampire Slayer box set, don't expect to see it again. That's hilarious. I don't think I've ever watched like a series of Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He's joking, by the way. Don't take him seriously. He's never lent me Buffy the Vampire Slayer. I actually got a sample from somewhere and I didn't believe it was natural because it smells so nice. But then the seller got... I'm not sure what you're talking about. Well, what smells so nice? Can you break down how much of each material you've used, please? What, so you can nick my formula? Why would I do that? You're not nicking my formula. Work it out yourself. How long does your custom fragrance last in average? What do you mean, like on the skin, like longevity? I mean, it depends what you're making it out of. Every fragrance is going to last a different amount of time depending on what's in it. This is an incense fragrance with lots of resins and woods, so I would expect the minimum of 6 hours up to anywhere to like 10 hours maybe. 10 to 12 hours. It's got white ambergris in there, which is a fantastic fixative. There's resins and woods, so it might hit 12 if you're lucky, but you would at least get 6 from it. Obviously, depending on the concentration that you dilute it out, but I'm aiming somewhere between 15 and 20%, presuming there's enough oil in this beaker when we've finished. The C3, this smells really good, by the way, just so you know. I can smell the oud for sure. The oud is there. I can smell the hinoki vibe. So you get the woods, you get the resins, you get the incensey vibe. It's all mixing nicely. I might contemplate this for a minute before we move on. I've got a tiny little bit of oud in this pipette, which I don't want to waste, so I'm gonna just dunk it in here. Okay. Ensar oud is not cheap, so I want to get all of that. Okay, there we go. Okay, chuck that. It's smelling good. I think it's balanced so far. So let me think. Okay, so I might make the incense accord just a little bit more nuanced and a little bit more complex, because it's relatively basic there, but I don't want to overdo it. Oh, we had patchouli. Oh, damn. Okay, well, it's a good time to add patchouli. So we wanted patchouli in this. Where's my... Okay, there we go. I'm looking at the screen now so I can see what I've got to put in here. These are the main notes: yuzu, mandarin, jasmine, coriander, cinnamon, spikenard, incense, hinoki, sandalwood. Okay, good reminder. Okay, this is perfect. So right now we're going to do spikenard and patchouli. The ambergris used in Dendera lasts 12 to 15 hours on my skin. Well, there you go. That's a good reference point. Yeah, the smell-o-vision would be good, because I could be like, okay, this is your fragrance, have a smell. Do you want more frankincense? Do you want more hinoki? Do you want more oud? That would be the perfect way to do it. But alas, okay, so this is nice. We're gonna go with patchouli and spikenard next. Spikenard, a little bit weird, like I said earlier. I'm gonna click that onto here. I think we'll go with spikenard first. It is an odd material. Let me just write it down before we go. So like I said, to me it's quite hard to describe because it's very unique. I've not smelled... I can't compare it directly to anything because it's so unique. But it's got elements of vetiver. It's got elements of kind of green, herbal, earthy, rooty is a good word to describe it, I would say. It smells rooty. It has a dampness, so it smells slightly like wet root, if that makes sense. Very interesting, or slightly kind of spiced in a way too. So we're going to go with spikenard next. I'm going to go with a light hand of this. I'm not going to add like a... because it's quite unusual. I think it'll add to the richness of the incense accord, because, you know, different kinds of woods work well, obviously blending into an incense accord. So I think maybe like 0.15 grams or something, and then we'll stop. There we go. Okay, let me just... I'm going to write that down. I'm going to give that a swirl. Okay, I don't want to add too much of that because I don't want to make it super weird. So that's spikenard is in there now. Okay, so we're going to go with the patchouli next. Everyone, mostly, you know, people know what patchouli smells of. Patchouli can kind of go kind of chocolatey sometimes. It can go kind of very dark green, leafy, wet kind of foresty vibe. But it's kind of that classic kind of hippie smell, isn't it? The hippies wore it in the 60s. But I think most of us have smelled patchouli in fragrances, so I'm going to go a little bit light on the patchouli. I don't want like a crazy amount in there, but just so you know it's in. Maybe stop there. Unless you want a heavy patchouli, I mean, it's your fragrance, buddy. If you like patchouli, I'll put in a little more. I've gone light here, and I just want to smell it now. I just want to get a nice balance where it's all kind of, it's just working together. That's smelling nice. I like that. The frankincense is still there. The oud. I think, thinking about it, I think we could probably add even a little bit more hinoki. Let me smell the hinoki again by itself. Or maybe not. Okay, let me just go back. Okay. I think I'm going to add more hinoki. Okay. Before we move on to the next notes, next round of notes, I'm gonna increase the hinoki. Okay, so I'm gonna be a little bit more generous with this. It is more subtle though. Okay, stop. I mean, to be fair, I've kind of gone heavy-handed there. I kind of blindly went for it out of my own faith. That's nice. I think I'm going to stop. Okay, let me just add that to the sandalwood. Oh god, yeah. Thanks. Good call. I would have forgotten. Okay, sandalwood next. Okay, we're using East Indian sandalwood. It's called Mysore on the bottle, but I'm not going to call it Mysore. East Indian sandalwood. This is beautiful. It's buttery, creamy, slightly sweet even. But it's that classic kind of creamy, thick, buttery, creamy sandalwood. Indian sandalwood. And this is what I used in Dendera. And I know you like Dendera, so... Let me just read this comment. Is it possible to make multiple times a formula and be 100% sure that you added exactly? Well, that's why you write the weights down. You have a good scale and you write the weight of every material, then you can replicate the fragrance exactly the same each time. Okay, we're going on to the sandalwood now. I mean, this is gonna kind of... I think it's probably enough. I don't want to overdo it. I can actually smell it already there. That's nice. Sandalwood. Okay, so I'm going to read out the notes of what we've got so far. And then, okay, so we've got the incense accord at the moment. Myrrh, benzoin, frankincense, ambergris tincture, hinoki wood, ensar oud, spikenard, patchouli, and Indian sandalwood. That's what's in the beaker right now at the moment. We've finished with the hinoki. Okay. So we've got our woods, we've got our resins, This is going to be the core root of the fragrance, basically the base of the fragrance. Gaia lasts forever. I wore it on Earth Day. Accidentally sprayed it on my hoodie and I can still smell it. Ah, cool. Glad you like it. Thank you very much. Okay, so you wanted a lemony incense. So I'm gonna put this in. Just a little bit. It's difficult with my brain is like thinking how do you make a lemony incense in the base, because anything lemony generally is more of a top note, so it's hard to get a lemony kind of vibe going into the base, but I've got a few ideas. So yeah, I'm gonna add a little bit of this. This is a specialty base basically, so it's designed to stretch into the base, and it's kind of lemony, aldehydic lemony kind of floral thing that is going to give a lemony nuance and hopefully stretch it a little bit more into the base. But I don't want to add too much of it. And then there's another material I want to use as well. Okay, we can add a little bit more. Okay, we'll stop there. That's 0.20 grams of that. That's having the right kind of effect. So let me just write this down. Okay, what was the other material I was thinking of using for that? My brain's gone blank. I had another kind of, I can do that. Let me just think for a second. What else do we need? Coriander. That would be handy to put in at this point. Yeah, okay. At this point, I think coriander's perfect timing for this. Try and do everything in a reasonable order. I thought there were type of incense that had lemony quality naturally already within them. That's why I said that. Love it, BBQ. Well, like I said, the hinoki itself does have a lemony-ish kind of. At least this one does. It does have a hint of a lemony kind of thing in it, and that's going to be going into the mid and the base, so that helps. And then I've obviously topped it up with this speciality base, just to give it a little bit more of that. But next I'm gonna go in with the coriander next. Coriander is something that I haven't really played with, to be honest. I've not actually massively fiddled around with it in blends, so I'm gonna be a little bit light-handed because I'm a little bit scared of materials where I'm not like totally, familiar with using them all the time. Okay, well I'm gonna stop there and I'm just gonna smell to make sure I'm not overdoing it. Okay, so right now when I smell it, it smells good, man. I get it's a strong woody incense. I smell the oud straight away. I can smell the frankincense straight away. And you get the kind of that slightly lemony-ish, slightly kind of vibe coming through. I think the woods and the resins seem to be, ideally, it's good to patch on skin when you're doing this, but at the moment I think it's not bad. So I'm gonna add just like a couple more. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. I don't want to overdo the coriander. Okay, so we're gonna take a break for a second. I'm gonna have a drink of water. My Divine Love bottle. It literally says Divine Love on it. Blue Bottle Love, so bear with me. Okay. Isoi Super to me smells like balsa wood. Do you know balsa wood? That very pale. It's like white wood, and as a kid you could like scratch into it and make things from it. Very lightweight wood. It kind of has that kind of balsa wood vibe to me. What's giving it the dark colour are multiple things. Benzoin, Patchouli, oud, are all, I mean, that's the colour of the oud that we put in there. So, okay, I'm trying to read comments at the same time. Joe says, Peter, the women of this chat have unionized. Oh, funny. Okay. Well, you're gonna have to behave yourself then, Joe, aren't you? Oh, I wish you could smell this, buddy. I think it's smelling good. I think you'll like it. I'm tempted, to put in just a little bit more oud. Let me just go back and smell the. I think I'm slightly worried I'm burning my nose out. Let me just. Okay. So this one is up to where we added hinoki. This one is where we added the oud. I think I might add more oud. It's smelling good. I'm feeling like just a touch more oud might give it kind of just a bit of a more of a kick-ass in the base. Why are we getting violent in the chat? What's going on? Okay, so I'm gonna add more of the Ensar oud. So the dolls are going in this one. Okay. That's another 5 drops of Ensar oud. Okay, we're gonna stop there. And I'm just going to clear out the pipette in there to get rid of the rest of it. Okay. The Ensar oud's kind of strong, so I'm not going to add any more than that. But I just wanted to boost it a little bit because it's so nice. You might as well have the best quality fragrance that you can. Okay, so oud. Okay, I've added a little bit more oud. Oh yeah. Lovely. Very nice. I think it's smelling kick-ass, to be honest. It's smelling good. I'm getting a kind of, I can imagine it. I can picture it. Japanese kind of war incense. It's good. I'm thinking you're going to be impressed. I think you're going to like it. Okay, so what next? Yeah, so that in the mid, we're gonna be jasmine is gonna be in there, which is gonna be a mid note. But yeah, head note. I guess hinoki kind of. It's kind of a. It's in between. It's bass and mid at the same time. But there's going to be a little jasmine sambac in here, which is. Where is it? There we go. It's there. Jasmine sambac. Okay, let me just read the comments again. Joe says he's a delicate flower. Okay. Are there any substances that might be harmful to your skin? There's loads of materials that are allergens in. Like natural rose absolute is packed full of allergens. Pretty much any floral in general has got a lot of allergens. So be a little bit careful with the amount of florals that you use. You might get a rash, so like patch test on your skin first. Like on the back of your hand is a good place. If you get a rash, you can wash it off with soap. Just don't spray it around here first. Test it on the back of your hand. And then if you have a reaction, it's only your hand that's going to get itchy, not your whole, throat area. Are you going to add any musk? No, but it's got white ambergris in there, which will give it a musty-like quality to it a little bit in the base. But I think synthetic musk in this will ruin it. It won't really work with the incense and the woods. It would have the effect of dampening it and muting it and giving it kind of a blanket that won't really work over there. And I don't use real deer musk because I love the little deers. I don't want to kill them, to be honest. Okay, so I'm just going through the comments. Eugene's in the house. Hi, how are you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. We are halfway through blending a fragrance. We've got this so far, Eugene. It is a Japanese incense I can't speak. A Japanese incense inspired fragrance. There we go. And at the moment, so we got this incense accord. It's myrrh, benzoin, frankincense are the main kind of core. I've got some ambergris, white ambergris tincture in there to give it kind of a mustiness. Plus ambergris is a nice fixative. We're using hinoki wood from Japan, and hinoki, if you've not smelled it, is kind of it's somewhere between cedar and pine, but with kind of a slightly lemony kind of note to it. It's an interesting. It's quite nuanced. It's not too easy to describe, but it's, if you can imagine somewhere between pine and cedar with a slight lemony kind of vibe to it, you're in a kind of the right kind of ballpark. And then we're using Ensar Oud, Santosa. This is a Thai Cambodi Oud from Ensar Oud. Is going in the base 2, and we've got East Indian Sandalwood in there, a little bit of Patchouli, and we've just added Coriander, and we're going, we're working our way up. There was another spice that you wanted in there, which, was it cinnamon? Tiny. I think we're gonna go like super light on the cinnamon. I don't think it. Smelling it like this, it's smelling really good. I think too much. The cinnamon should be like a very, very faint. It's so easy to like overdo cinnamon because it's so. This is diluted to 10% in this. But I'm thinking literally like, without exaggerating, 1 drop. Like I don't want this taken over. In fact, I might even dilute it further than 10%. Cinnamon scares me. Like, I used it in Dendera, but like it packs a punch. How about some Smoky Vetiver? Well, this fragrance isn't mine. It's Kyuu. And he won a fragrance giveaway. So basically, he came up with the note list and the inspiration behind the fragrance, and I'm making it him, and it's going to be in a bottle, and I'm going to post it him. And so it's his winning idea. So if you would like a little bit of vetiver in there, I do have Haitian vetiver, but you'd have to tell me now, because we're in the realm of the base notes. So if you want that in, you like have to raise your hand and say, okay, like do it now before you move on to the next bit. Okay, so tiniest amount, if none at all, for the cinnamon. Okay, good call. I might. This one is diluted to 10%. Oh, I don't have a spare. I can dilute it in that. I was gonna say I don't have a spare beaker to do it right at hand to dilute it further. It's a bit of a pain actually because my alcohol's down here. Okay, if you don't mind, I'll hold off on the cinnamon on the live stream, and at the very end, when I finish the live stream, I'll dilute this even more, and I'll put just a little bit in, because I feel like even a single drop of the 10% might overdo it, and I don't want to overdo it. Like you can add more, but you can't take it away. Once it's in there, you're screwed. So I'll do that afterwards, if you don't mind. Because traditional Japanese incense sometimes incorporates cinnamon bark. Yeah. So what I'll do is I'll dilute it after and just add a tiny little bit in, because I don't want it to go over. Dump some clove in there without telling him. Oh, clove is... Oh, man. I don't know if anyone else had this, but when I was a kid, I had terrible teeth when I was younger because I ate so much sweets. And, like, I've got... how many teeth missing? Like 4? Like, half my molars are missing because, like, I literally had to have them ripped out because I didn't look after my teeth growing up. And, but I used to get horrific toothache as a kid. And my mother used to put clove essential oil on cotton wool, and it smells so strong from the raw essential oil. And I'd have to put the clove oil on the cotton wool on my gum, and then like, you know, puff my cheek up against it, and it burns like, oh, it's like fire. It's so painful, and it's to make your gum numb. It actually numbs it. But oh my god, it's so the smell of clove, I get this flashback of toothache, and my face kind of going, ugh, because it tastes revolting, and it burns. So I'm not a fan of clove. I'm thinking maybe skip the cinnamon altogether. It's up to you, buddy. I don't mind. If I'm going to use it, I would dilute it further and literally just add a tiny little droplet, just so you know a little bit is in there. But it, like I say, I think smelling it like that, I think it would ruin it if it was massively perceivable. Elm resin. Possibly. I've got a few different resins. I'm not sure. I think we're good. Did you want? Hold on. Did you want vetiver? I don't think. Let me scroll up. I don't know if I missed that comment. I asked if you wanted vetiver because Eugene called it out and said put vetiver in there. Okay, no vetiver. Okay, cool. Okay, we're not adding vetiver. Sorry, buddy. Good thing I scrolled up and checked. Okay. Peter, were you also scared of haircuts as a child? Yes, I was actually. When I was growing up, I had severe social anxiety. So going to a hairdresser would give me a panic attack because the hairdresser would talk to me and I was scared of people talking to me. So yes, I had a fear of getting my haircut all throughout high school, in fact, and up into my mid-20s. Like, I can't express to you how bad my social anxiety was. I couldn't ring on a phone. I couldn't get on a bus. I couldn't go to a supermarket. I couldn't go anywhere really. Couldn't do anything. And getting a haircut would I'd have to work myself up to it because it would be so fear inside. I'd feel sick just going in. Just to something as simple as him speaking to me and saying, "Well, what do you want?" And I'm like, "Well, I don't really know. I just want my hair a little bit shorter, please." But I don't know what... I don't have a style. I don't know what you call it. All these things in my head built up an anxiety of I don't know how to answer the question. And then I'd feel sick. And then, so yeah, I had horrific social anxiety for a long time. It was when I started going traveling by myself that I started to overcome the social anxiety. I went to Cambodia on my own for a month without a tour group, completely on my own, without nothing. I had a hotel booked for the first couple of nights in Siem Reap, and that was it. Once I got there, I made my own plans and just winged it for a whole month. And I went round all of Cambodia, of Laos, of Vietnam. And that wasn't planned. I didn't plan to go to Laos or Vietnam. I did that while I was in Cambodia and got the visas to go to those countries as well. You can get a visa for Vietnam when you land, basically, so you don't have to have it in advance. So I went all around Southeast Asia by myself and had the most amazing time. I met some incredible people that I'm still in touch with today. It opened me up. I felt like a whole new person. It's like you put me in another country and I'm like, it's like Peter with all his problems and his social anxiety and his scared of talking to people, it disappeared. And it's like I was not that person anymore. I can't explain it, but it was like, I can't really explain it, but being in a new culture where no one knew me, I just blossomed. It was a revelation to me. It really, really opened me up and made me realize, wow, I can go around the world by myself and have an amazing time and not be scared of everything. And that was really big deal for me. And then I suppose at the same time, after that I started doing my offshore work and going around doing the offshore diving. And I think the first trip was I flew out to Singapore for my first trip, and we did the offshore work in the Vietnamese waters. Flew back to Vietnam at the end of it, and I'd already been there traveling, so I was familiar with Vietnam, and so I had a day in Vietnam before coming home. And then I did a couple of months in Indonesia, and then at the end of the 2 months in Indonesia doing the diving, I had a holiday in Bali by myself, and Bali was beautiful. Went to Angola, West Africa. Flew out to the Congo first, and then Angola. That was cool. There was a shark on that one, swimming around while we were installing a new pipeline hose on an FPSO, a floating production storage offloading vessel. They're giant vessels that are anchored to the seabed, and they get filled with oil from the seabed from the plems at the bottom. And we were installing a new hose with it wasn't hydrotite, it was a high torque. So it's like this, you put it over the nut, and it kind of goes click 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 click, and it tightens the nut for you. and then you have to do it in an order. So you've got the flange, and then you kind of go boom, 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 boom. You kind of do this kind of cross pattern with the high torque, and we're doing that, and that was cool. And then I worked a lot in Thailand, and then latterly was Dubai. So all that kind of travel, and then in between that, I started traveling properly by myself. Like we went to, I dropped my pen. Where's my pen gone? Went to South America, to Peru, by myself, which I guess you all saw because I filmed reviews there in Machu Picchu. Where's my pen gone? It's just literally vanished into another dimension. Okay, I'm gonna have to stand up. Where's it gone? It's vanished. I literally, I don't know where my pen is. I was talking and now I've lost my pen. Okay, well we can't move on until I find my pen. Yeah, Peru, Cusco. I went to Easter Island. That was amazing. The sunsets on Easter Island are white. I'm gonna look for my pen while I talk. Okay, I think I'm gonna need another pen. Bear with me. Okay. I have a spare pen in the drawer. It's fine. We got a new pen. Egypt. That was cool. I'm knocking things over now. I've worked myself up. There we go. Okay, let's calm down. I'm getting excited. Oh, okay, let me stretch. I don't know where the pen is. It literally vanished. We'll find it later. I've got a new pen. Okay, so next up, we're going to be adding... Okay, let me go over the notes. Jasmine, coriander, cinnamon, spikenard, incense, hinoki, sandalwood, oud, patchouli. Okay, I think jasmine next. It's not under my bed. It's not. My bed's miles away. I do this with my shit all the time. Oh dear. Okay, so... But yeah, anyone that's got social anxiety, what my point was, anyone that's like suffers with social anxiety like I had, because I think it's quite common, I think a lot of people have it, the best advice I can say to you is go travelling by yourself. Don't go with a tour group, just book a ticket. Well, I mean, you can't really at the moment with COVID, but let's presume COVID doesn't exist for a while. The best remedy for me that changed my life was going travelling by myself. It really... It changes your whole personality. You see different cultures, your mind expands, you feel alive, you feel... I think when you're at home and you do a routine thing all the time, life can become dull. You can become kind of numb to life, and you don't feel excited to get out of bed in the morning because it's become routine and habitual. And the excitement kind of is lost a little bit and it becomes mundane. When you step into another culture and you're by yourself and you've got to figure things out in real time, like you become alive pretty freaking quick. You feel alive. It's an adventure. It's the best way. It's an adventure, basically. Every day was an adventure because I didn't plan anything. I winged it all. And that's how I like traveling now. Because you feel alive, and it's amazing. So I'd recommend it to anybody. I was the opposite. My parents were afraid I would get kidnapped. Yeah, I mean, I suppose for an individual solo woman, there is an element of like, I suppose risk. I'm privileged in the sense I'm a white male, like. I don't really have any problems that way, so like I'm not scared to walk around in the dark or in a country by myself. Like I don't feel massively threatened. The only time I did feel threatened was in Peru, actually, in Lima. Lima's rough, man. It feels proper dodgy. Like I was scared in Lima. I had a taxi driver rob me basically. When I was walking around this city with my camera, my Canon camera, like one of the locals came up to me and was like, dude, you need to hide that camera in your bag because it's going to get nicked. Like, someone's going to attack you and take your bag. Like, don't go off on a side street. Stay in the big tourist area. Don't go down any side streets. Your bag will disappear. Like, I felt like worried in Lima, and I was sleeping in a rough part of the town as well, in like a cheap like Airbnb type place that was like on the outskirts, and there was like an all night party. It was horrific because it was when I just got there and I was jet lagged, and I'm not kidding, like they had music on, like really like to the point of it vibrating the walls of the room I'm in, like loud music. And I don't know where it's coming from. It's just somewhere in the ghetto of where I am, and it's like there's people having house parties with this unbelievably loud music. There's dogs barking. There's like people shouting and having arguments, and it went on till like 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock in the morning. I didn't get any sleep the whole night. It just did not stop. What really pissed me off was it set a house alarm off, and this house alarm was going like woo woo woo, like proper siren. That must have gone on for like 5 hours. No one turned the freaking thing off. It was a horrific night's sleep. Well, I didn't sleep. It was painful. But yeah, Lima's a little bit dodgy. Maybe, be careful if you go in there. But everywhere else I felt super safe. Even in Egypt, I felt dead safe in Egypt. I was walking around like 11 o'clock at night, midnight, on my own, down side alleys, in the middle of nowhere in Luxor. And the kids are playing football in the street. All the houses have got their family doors open, and all the parents are hanging out. And there's kids playing football in the street at like 11 o'clock at night in the dark. And they're like, hello, hi, and they want to play football with you, and it was amazing. Like, they're super friendly people, so that was cool. But anyway, we're off topic. Jasmine. How much jasmine would you like in the mid, buddy? So jasmine sambac is quite strong, and I don't know how floral you want this. I'm not going to add any until like you comment on like a ratio of how perceivable do you want the jasmine. Do you want a hint of jasmine? Do you want like a mid of jasmine where you can actually, properly smell jasmine through the mid? Or do you just want like a hint of it, like a nuance? Hello from Brazil. Hello. Just enough to tell it's there, but not too much. Okay, that's good. I've only done a place in North America and Australia by myself so far. That's cool. I've never been to Australia, but I would quite like to go. Okay, so we're going to add jasmine sambac. I'm literally adding 3 drops and smelling it because it's actually quite strong. Okay, I can add a little bit more, but I think I'd literally just 2 more drops, and then I'm going to stop and smell it again. If you only want a light nuance of it, we really don't need to go heavy on it. I'm going to be a little bit brave. I'm going to add 1 more drop. Okay. You'll smell it, but it'll be subtle. But I think that's probably a good thing because the core of the incense and the oud is quite lovely. Okay, so let me just write this down. 0.15 grams of jasmine. So that's the colour we've got at the moment. Go crazy with the jasmine. It's not my fragrance. It's not my fragrance. I'm not making it for me. I'm making it for someone else. They're the boss. Okay, so this is not to trump my own horn, but I think it smells pretty damn good. I'm liking it. I think the jasmine's balanced. I can detect it, but it's not. It doesn't overtake. I think I'm still tempted to add more oud. I'm not gonna because I've added loads. That's just me being an oud nut. Okay, let me go back and smell. This is the after the. So we've got before we hold on, up to hinoki and then up to the oud. So we've got the fragrance at different kind of progressions here. Okay, so then this one is up to jasmine. Jasmine. Okay, so we've got 3 different kind of stages of the fragrance here. It's smelling good. What % concentration will this be? I'm not sure yet, buddy. It depends what this comes to. Basically what I'll do is I'm writing down the weights, obviously, of everything I add. At the end of the video, when I turn the video off, I'll get my calculator and I'll add it all up, and then I'll calculate the total weight. Some of the materials are diluted, like the ambergris tincture, and the benzoin was 50%, so I have to take that into consideration. Work it out to what I can make to fill a 30ml bottle, because it's going to go in my Centauri bottles. And so looking at that, it would be somewhere between an EDP and an X straight, so like 15 to 20%. I would have a guess, judging by the level and that beaker. So it'll be strong. It should last 6 hours at least. On the skin, because there's a lot of resins, woods, and ambergris. So this is smelling nice. I think we did well on the jasmine. It's like I say, it's there. You can smell a little bit of it, but it's not taking over. And the incense and the woods is all coming together. I'm liking it. I think it's going to be good. Let me just pause for a moment and just think for a second before I go on to because we're going to be getting into the top notes. Before I do that, I want to just think: is there anything I can add to it that's going to just, creme de la creme kind of? I should ask: do you want any kind of sweetness in this? Because I can add a little bit of vanilla or something that. I mean, some of the resins like the benzoin are naturally a little bit sweet, but not massively. If you do want a touch of sweetness, now is the time to say, but otherwise it won't be a sweet fragrance. You won't get a sweetness from it massively anyway. Like I said, a tiny little bit of from the resin. The ambergris itself is actually, the white ambergris I use is slightly sweet, but not hugely. Not in terms of like vanilla. Lotus maybe. You want lotus? I can add lotus. I've got pink lotus. If you want, it's up to you. Don't really want any sweetness. Okay, cool. Okay, let me just smell the middle part before I added the jasmine. Okay, no, I'm happy. I think it's smelling good. I think it's smelling good. So I'm gonna pull out. So we've got red mandarin, yuzu aldehyde, and yuzu essential oil. And I was thinking of maybe using orange power, just like a drop of it. Orange power is a Givaudan base, which smells like orange peel. But I was thinking to myself, it might just prolong the citrus quality into the mid and the base, because this shit's nuclear strong. It's designed to be like it's basically designed to stretch that citrusy quality into the base, basically. And I was thinking of just using just a tiny bit just to extend that fruity citrus quality, because we're using natural Mandarin essential oil, which is lovely, juicy. It's literally like freshly juiced Mandarin. But that orange Jifco will just boost it into further into the fragrance, if that makes sense. If Lotus you think will pair well with a floral nuance, then go for it. I mean, it's up to you. I don't mind. I think I don't think it particularly the Pink Lotus is kind of, it has a relation to Jasmine Sambac in a way, but I would say it's more watery and a little bit more sweet. I'm not sure it needs more floral. I mean, I could add a little bit. I'm not sure how, so to speak, Japanese that is. If I did, it would be like just a couple of drops, to be honest, because I don't want to overdo the floral. If you only wanted a nuance, because I think the main vibe that you want is the kind of udi hinoki incense with the yuzu. So I could add a couple of drops. I mean, it will work. It will go with it. Okay, I'll go with just a couple of drops. It's a lovely floral. Okay, you can't say no now because I've added it. I've just put a couple in. It's not going to be... You probably won't even smell it, to be honest. It backs up the jasmine a little bit. I don't think it was needed, but it gives it maybe a little bit of extra floral nuance. I'm a bit nervous about overdoing the floral because that can overtake. It's smelling nice. Okay, I was going to step back for a second and just have a think of, is there anything we can do? Let me just scan my horizons for anything. You were talking about, is this music too loud? I've got Japanese flute music since we're making a Japanese fragrance, but it might be a little bit loud. Let me just take my hoodie off because I'm getting a bit overheated. Okay, so I've got pink pepper, and we were talking about spices, and we were thinking of leaving out cinnamon. What do you think about just a tiny little bit of pink pepper? I think it will work well with the incense accord. So if you like pink pepper, just a little bit might help that slightly kind of fiery, slightly spiced thing that you were thinking of in your mind. What do you think? It's up to you. I'm gonna have a quick drink of water. I think pink pepper might be a better fit than cinnamon. So yeah, okay, cool. I'll only add a little bit just to let me pop my water. Excuse me while I just. When I talk a lot, my voice goes really dry, so I just need a little bit of water. Okay. Okay, we're gonna go a little bit pink pepper. Okay, so we're going with pink pepper essential oil, and the pink pepper's kind of slightly got a slightly kind of lemony-ish slight nuance to it as well. It's kind of more of a slightly fresher kind of spice, if that makes sense. Okay, I'm gonna stop there. I've only added like 0.10 grams. It's not very much, but you know, I'm gonna stop there. I think it only needs a little bit. Okay, cool. So there's a little bit of pink pepper in there. I tell you what, I've got ginger as well. What do you think about just a tiny... I'm stretching it here, but what do you think about a little bit of ginger? I'm literally talking like a drop or 2 drops, like just a tiny little hint of it. But I think ginger's a lovely spice. It does have... ginger's got kind of that... How do I describe it? It has that kind of, like I said, pink pepper has a fresh kind of spice. Ginger's the same. It's kind of got that fresh kind of slicey kind of fresh. Do you know what I'm trying to say? I can't describe the word I'm looking for. But I think it might be quite nice. And I'm thinking, like, do Japanese kind of teas maybe use a little bit of ginger, maybe? I'm not sure. I wrote ginger in my message to you and in the comments under your giveaway video. Why did I not write it down there then? Okay, well, we'll add ginger. I didn't even write it on here. I must have missed it. Ginger is supposed to be in there. Well, it's a bloody good job, isn't it? Because I wouldn't have added it because I've been looking at this list. How did I miss that? Bloody hell. We would have missed it, buddy. Okay, we're going to add ginger then. Is it definitely not there? I didn't write it down, did I? Yuzu, Mandarin, jasmine, coriander, cinnamon, spikenard. Didn't write it down. I must have missed it. That's my fault. Well, at least I looked at it and thought, oh, that'll work. Saved. Okay, cool. Okay, we're going to add ginger. This is pretty strong. I'm going to add like 3 drops and stop and just smell it. And I think we're going to go literally drop by drop and just... I think we should smell a hint of it, so I'll keep going one by one until I think... Yeah, okay. So I think we can add a bit more. Okay, I've been a bit cheeky. I'm adding 2 drops at a time. Okay, let's have another smell. Let me just clear my nose. Okay, and now I'm going to go to 1 drop at a time. I want a little bit of a bite of it where you can definitely tell it's there, but where it's not, like, in your face. You don't want to melt your face off, you know? Okay, another drop. Okay, I'm gonna go another 2 drops. going to be brave. Okay, stop there. Okay, I'm getting nervous now. I'm going to do one more drop and stop and smell that. Okay. I get nervous when I know I'm at the I'm at the tipping point of when it's going to like go, oh, is there? Okay, we're getting close. I'm going to maybe a couple more drops, but I'm going to do one at a time. Okay, one drop. Okay, let's smell that. Okay, I think one more drop. I'm getting nervous. Okay, one more drop. I don't want to overdo it. Oh. Oh. I'm gonna do what? Okay, one more drop. One more. Okay, let me read the comments. Okay, let me just add one more drop. Okay, one more drop. There we go. Okay, I'm scared now. I'm scared. Oh boy, I think I've nailed it. You get a hint of the bite of it without it being like in your face. Okay, I'm pretty happy. I can adjust it at the end if I think it needs a little bit more, but I'm gonna stop there. Okay, I'm missing loads of comments. Because I'm just scrolling up. Did you find that bottle on the beach with a message in it, Peter? No. This is from Blue Bottle Love. They're a company in America, and there was a water experiment where they put the intention of a word into the water, like love and then hate, and then they freeze it and they look at the ice crystal formations, and hate was like all deformed and ugly looking, and love was like this beautiful, perfect, like a work of art, like it looked amazing. And there's a difference of the intention of the thought, that the water has like they call it a water memory, and the water literally holds it as a memory in itself, and so your emotion and the intention of the emotion hitting the water stores it as a memory. And so hate is like ugly water when you look at it under a microscope, and love is like beautiful. So this company has basically gone onto that, so it's got divine love written on there with like a chakra lotus flower thing in the middle, and the blue color of the glass is meant to do something as well. I've got a little label that comes with it, but it's called Blue Bottle Love if you want to get one yourself, but they're in America. I imported it. You get them in different sizes, and they've all got different designs and different words on, like joy, love, forgiveness, peace, like loads of stuff. And some of the designs are quite cool, so yeah, I got that. Anyway, let me scroll down. Nice intuition, Peter. Thank you. Yeah, we got saved with the ginger. I guess it's not in my messages to you, but it's in my writing and the winning comment. It's totally my fault, but I missed it when I wrote it down. You forgot to write down clove too. Okay, cool. Maybe just one more drop. I was kidding, but thank you for the detailed explanation. Okay, cool. Okay, so this is smelling good, man. I'm liking it. You know what would have been cool in this? Would be adding a tea note. I've got some tea, I think. Because the Japanese are famous for drinking their tea, aren't they? I think the samurai, like they have the tea ceremony, don't they? I've got rooibos tea. if there's any left. I might not have any left. Oh no, I do. I think I've got Rooibos and I've got Honeybush. I don't know if there's any Honeybush left. Oh, there is. I've got 2 different teas. If you want tea in there, I don't like tea. Okay. I'm a little bit saddened by that. I was kind of excited at the thought of putting tea in, but okay. Never mind. It's your fragrance. I don't know. I'm just joking, but you know, tea would have worked. I'm having some matcha tea now. I've got a tub of matcha tea, but I struggle drinking it because it's like drinking moss. I mean, I don't drink tea in general. I don't drink tea or coffee. I can drink matcha tea. I've drunk a few cups of it, but like I wouldn't say I enjoy it. I drink it because I know it's good for you. Joe is lying. I did not vomit. No, it was alright. It kind of tastes like, to me, it's like drinking a very smooth moss. It's like green moss. It's almost like drinking a tennis ball. Okay, so I think... Let me just smell this again. I think we're at the stage of actually top notes. Let me just count the materials so far. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. We've got 15 materials in this so far. 15 different oils. And we're about to add 1, 2, 3, 4, another 4. So there you go. 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. It'll have 19 materials in when we're finished. So if anyone's curious about how many oils make up the fragrance, it's 19. You lie. I didn't. I didn't throw up. What are you talking about? It tastes like moss. I didn't mind it. It's quite smooth. Why has he got an angry face? There's no way that I threw up drinking matcha tea. I would remember that. I could drink a cup now. It's not that bad. It's like drinking a tennis ball. I don't mind it. It's not, I don't enjoy it, but it's like, it's not bad. Saying I don't enjoy it's maybe a bit harsh. I don't mind it is the best way of saying it. I'm indifferent to it. I'm indifferent. I could drink a cup of it, but like, given the choice, I probably wouldn't pick it. That's the best way of wording it. Okay, so we're going to go with the... I'm going to add the Mandarin last, I think. Or should I add it first? I'm trying to think of the order to do the citruses. Oh, God. We'll do it last. I'm going to do the yuzu first. And I'm going to go with the yuzu aldehyde first, and then the yuzu essential oil. Okay, so I'm going to add a little bit of this. A little bit of this, a little bit of that. Okay. Okay, I'm going to stop there. That's just to basically round off the essential oil. And also I think this will last longer. As in it'll drag off into the middle a little bit more than the essential oil will. Okay, so let me just... I don't think I'll be able to pick it out from there. No. But I know it will help. Once I back it up with this, the natural essential oil, yuzu essential oil, it will just help boost, I think. That's my theory. I've to be honest, I've not played with these before. This is the first time I've been playing with the yuzu. I bought it literally especially for this. I didn't have any yuzu essential oil. This stuff is expensive too. It's, I think, well, it's the most expensive citrus I've ever bought. Anyway, it's pretty pricey, but I like it. It smells great. Yuzu is probably my favorite floral, I would say. Okay, so I'm gonna So with this, we're competing with the whole fragrance. Like, we're competing with base notes, mid notes, and we want this on top to be able to actually smell it. So it's going to take a little bit of welly, is what I'm saying. Okay. So I'm going to add like 0.20 grams, and we'll just give it a whiff, and we'll try and okay. I'm just trying to get to whole numbers. We've got 0.40 grams. I can smell it, but I think it would be nice to be a little bit stronger. So we're going to add more. Floral or citrus. Floral or citrus. What are we talking about here, Lily? Okay, so I'll add a little bit more. Okay, I'm going to stop there and give it another smell. I think I'm going to add more. Okay, I'm just going to round it off to the next number. Okay, stop. Let me smell that. That's nice. I think that smells good. Okay, let me write that down. Yuzu essential oil is quite, at least that one is fairly mild. It's not that strong, which is why I had to add a bit of a chunk of it. Whereas if you compare it to the Mandarin, this is like twice as strong in terms of the odor profile. So the next we're gonna try and balance the Mandarin. This I shouldn't need as much because it's definitely stronger. You can see the color of the Mandarin essential oil there. You saved one of your favorite florals, but I think you misspoke. Oh, did I say floral? I meant citrus. Sorry, it's one of my favorite citruses. Okay, I'm going to stop there. Let me just read comments. You said yuzu might be your favourite floral, but you meant citrus, I think. Yes, I did. Sorry. Yuzu is kind of, to me, it's kind of a cross. It's got a little bit of a lemony vibe, a little bit of a Mandarin vibe, and it's kind of, it skirts somewhere in the middle while being more rounded and more smooth, at least to my nose. But it also has kind of, you get a little bit of the rind or the peel. So it's interesting. It's got more character than both Mandarin and lemon to me. Like, it's more interesting. I like it. It's a nice citrus. Okay, so gonna add a little bit more Mandarin. Okay, we're gonna stop there. The Mandarin is quite juicy, and it will give it a nice kind of fruity juiciness to it. I think it's quite nice, so I'm gonna... It'd be nice if you could actually pick it out, so I'm gonna try and attempt to balance it, you know, well with the yuzu. Okay, a little bit more. I think we're getting there. It's not far off. Okay, I'm going to stop. I was a bit generous there, but I'm trusting myself. Okay, I'm going to have like just a little bit more and then we'll stop. Okay, we're stopping. Okay, where's my lid? There we go. Let me write that down before I reset the scale. Okay. Ooh, yeah. It's smelling lovely. I think the top notes there are pretty damn good. Okay, let me put this strip in. Give it a swirl. That's nice. That's nice. You know, my head is going a little bit more ginger. Just a little bit more ginger. That's lovely. I think it's working well. How long has this stream been? How long have we been going for now? Where does it say? It doesn't even tell me. What time did we start? We started at 9, didn't we? Now it's 10 to 11. Oh my god, really? Almost 2 hours. Okay. How did I didn't. There's no way. I can drink matcha tea. I could literally make a cup of matcha tea right now and drink it in front of you. I don't have a problem with it. Or did I have a... Oh, maybe you're right. Maybe I had it on an empty stomach or something. I think I made it... Actually, you know, I think you're right. It's embarrassing to admit. But I've drunk it loads of times since. I think I made it... The first time I had it, I made it really strong and I had it on an empty stomach. And it basically came back up. Not that anyone needs to know that. Thanks, Joe. Peter, look at your Facebook now. You're a pain in the arse, Joe. Why do you join these streams? You just give me abuse. Ugh. Okay, so... I think it might be finished. I like it. I genuinely like it. I think it's nice. I think the yuzu, the mandarin is there. You smell it. It's a lovely top note. There's a hint of the gingeriness. I'm thinking maybe just adding a little bit more ginger, to be honest. And as it's dry down, you'll definitely smell the incensey oud kind of vibe and the hinoki. Should I kick him? You're welcome to put him in a timeout, Lily. I think he tried, because I'm trying this kind of spiritual thing where I'm trying not to have much of a reactive ego anymore. I think he tries his best he can to trigger me at any point, to try and elicit a reaction out of me because he finds it funny. But I'm trying to be zen, so he might have to try harder. I was thinking of adding this orange power, but I've never used it before, just to stretch the... But smelling it from the cap, it's like bloody nuclear. I think what I'll do is, there was a couple of materials I wanted to... Oh no, we weren't going to add cinnamon. Okay, off stream I'm going to dilute that down because I have to get my alcohol and, you know, sort all that out. I'll dilute this down. I'll just add a tiny bit of that because it's too strong to add it as it is there. And I'm hoping that will just push the citruses into the mid and through to the mid is what I'm trying to say, rather than more of a temporary top note. It'll just help push it into the mid, maybe. That's what I'm hoping for. I've never used the material before, so I'm kind of experimenting with it on you. But I think it will work. Okay, so I think we're gonna call it here. I might fiddle with it a little bit off stream, just to add a little bit of that, and I might just add a little bit more ginger, and then I've got to do the maths and add it up. And looking at that, it's going to be in the ballpark of somewhere between EDP and X straight. But hopefully you'll like it. I think you'll like it. Pete, how would you make citrusy note like yuzu to be a main character of a fragrance? Use more of it. No, you'd have to support it with other notes that are going to help it. That's what I tried to do with the yuzu aldehyde. Like, I mixed the yuzu aldehyde with the yuzu essential oil to try and just bulk it out a little bit and extend it. That's the Mandarin. I can throw that away. Okay, I'm gonna call it. I think that smells good. I'm gonna fiddle a little bit off stream, but it's basically done. And let me just count the final materials. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. We're gonna add one more off stream when I dilute it. 19. So it's got 19 materials in. So if it was a Le Labo, it would be called what would be the main note? Either yuzu or incense. Yuzu incense 19, maybe. I don't know. But no, hopefully you enjoyed watching, and you know, hopefully you'll like the fragrance. And I will... What day is it? Saturday, Sunday. I'm not gonna... Like, usually when you make a fragrance, you'd macerate it and all that. For a giveaway like this, for one bottle, I don't want you waiting like a month to get it. So it's not really going to make a massive amount of difference for this. I think I will bottle it straight away over the weekend. And on Monday, I will ship it out to you with FedEx, because I think you're in America, from memory. So I'll ship it out on Monday. You probably get it Tuesday. FedEx are pretty quick. So Tuesday, Wednesday, hopefully... Well, if there's no customs delay, sometimes customs hold it and then it can be delayed. But if there's no issues, you might get it the next day. So it won't be long till you have the bottle. I'll sign the back of the bottle. I'll put the name on the box, and I'll put a sticker on the box that has the main notes written on. And hopefully you'll like it. So yeah, I'll call it a night. I'll say goodnight. I'm going to tinker just a tiny bit more off stream and then do the maths. And info, send me on Instagram your address, full address, and your cell phone number, your telephone number for FedEx. And then you'll get shipping notifications of when the box is going to come. So if you send me that, that's cool. And yeah, take care, everyone. Good night. Thanks for tuning in. Hope you enjoyed it. And I will see you next week, probably, for some videos. Good night, everyone. Take care.